So welcome to another TSN Sandbox guide. In this guide I'm going to go through how to activate the sandbox and get into the Game Master console and load other ships in. I've got two screens up at the moment. I've got the main screen that you can see, the larger one I'm going to be using as the Game Master console. The one in the bottom right I'm going to be using to represent another console on a different ship. So I'm going to spawn in two ships to show you how it all works. I've also put a list up of the ship names and which ship they correspond to. Currently in the TSN Sandbox you have to name ship 1, the TSN Sabre, ship 2, the TSN Horizon, and all the way through to ship 8. That's just because of the way that the XML code works in the sandbox. In the future hopefully I'll be able to change things as new releases of Artemis come out and update that so that you could choose any ship name. For the time being though, you need the specific ship names listed. So I have my two screens open. I've got the server in the background as well, ready to run, and I've already selected the TSN Sandbox on the server. If you've watched one of my previous videos, you'll see how to download, install, and set up the TSN Sandbox so you can run it from the server. The first thing that I need to do is decide which ships I'm going to be running and name those ships. So for this demonstration, I'm going to run ship 2, and I'm also going to run ship 7. So I'll need to name those ships correctly and make sure that those ship names are typed properly so that they all match up with the actual sandbox code itself. So ship 1 is called the TSN Horizon, so I'm going to go into configure ship. I can configure whichever kind of drive I want, a jump drive or warp drive. I can choose whichever ship it is. These are all ships from the TSN mod, which you'll have seen if you've installed it. And then I'm going to enter this ship name. So there we go, there's the TSN Horizon configured. Ship number 7 is the TSN Stalker. So somebody else on a different client screen would have to go into ship 7, main screen, and configure that correctly. So we're going to call this TSN Stalker, and we'll configure that as an Orion class for now. Okay, so I've got the two ships set up. Obviously whoever is on the TSN Stalker will select the screens that they want. So for example, they might be the helms officer, or they might have a helm officer and the captain's map or something like that, or captain's map and comms, whichever combination, it doesn't really matter. To be able to spawn the ship, you have to have somebody with a main screen selected. If you don't have the main screen, the actual ship won't spawn itself. On the TSN Horizon, I'm going to be the Game Master, so I've got a main screen selected to spawn the ship, and then I'm going to select the Game Master console as well. I'm not going to click ready to play at this point. I'm going to wait until the server starts, and I can tell the server started by looking in the bottom left corner where the yellow bar appears. So here we go. The server itself has started. I'll get the pop-up message telling me which sandbox version this is and which Artemis version it corresponds to. So this is 7.4, and this was the sandbox created on the 25th of January 2020. I can just get rid of that. You'll notice that the screens haven't changed. That's because in the actual TSN Sandbox, no ship has spawned. There are no player ships created when you run the script. So to create that ship, I need to click the Ready to Play button, and it will automatically spawn that ship in. There we go. And here's the TSN Horizon. Once everybody else has got set up on the other ships, they can spawn their ships in. And just up in this top left corner where Grid Alpha 1 is, where my mouse is, you'll see a button appear on the Game Master console. There it is. And that is going to keep switching on and off. Sometimes it's not there when you go in. So that's just because you've missed it when the servers run. It automatically spawns when the servers run, and if you join afterwards you won't get that button. So I put it on a cycle so it will keep refreshing itself. You'll see it disappear and then you'll see it reappear, and it'll continue to do that until all the ships are ready to go. You have to wait until every ship is spawned before the GM clicks that button, otherwise all the code to be able to set up those ships won't run, and the TSN Sandbox might not function properly. So we're going to get the TSN Stalker spawned. When it spawns, if you have a look above where the horizon is, the TSN Horizon is, you'll see a button pop up and it'll say with synchronizing with TSN Stalker or synchronizing with the Stalker. So I'll spawn that one. There we go. Syncing with Stalker, it actually appeared to the left. And that is the code. Actually, it counts up the ordnance and it adds other properties to the ship as well, just to configure it so it's ready for the actual mission script. It sets things up like the code for shuttles and the code for activating jump gates and things like that. You can find out more about those in different videos. Now that I've got everybody spawned in and ready, we can switch to the helm on here. Here we go. I can start activating this sandbox itself. So I'm going to go into activate GM mode, and then it gives me these three options. I can either restart, which the restart button will take me right back to the activate GM mode. It will clear all the variables that have been set through this menu system. Then I've got three options. There's the lower arc systems, the upper arc systems, and the command bases. Lower arc systems corresponds with the lower arcs that you can find on the TSN system maps. The upper arc systems obviously corresponds to the ones in the upper arc system maps on the TSN system maps that we've got. I've got another video about that you can have a look at. And then command bases are specific bases that you can spawn at, so that you don't have to relocate your players. So we'll have a look at one of these menus. We'll have a look at the command bases menu first, actually. So if I click on that one, you can see there's TSN bases, and then there's a list of specific bases. So if I clicked on Promethean Command, it would spawn the players at the Promethean Command base, and it would spawn them around there automatically, and it'd set up all that sector ready to go. The US FP Outpost, these are ones beyond US FP borders. So at the moment there's just the Euphenia Outpost in there. There may be more added in as I continue to build on the sandbox. So I don't want the command base at the moment, so I'm going to reset the sandbox. I'm going to go back to activate GM. I'm going to go and find the upper arc systems. This is where most completed systems are. In the lower arc systems there's a few completed systems, but not as many, so we're going to have a look at the upper arc systems. So I'm going to click on that button, and you can see I've got lists of different systems. Again, these correspond to the stellar cartography maps that we've got. You can find those on terranstellarnavy.net, and then click on system maps and it'll take you to the system maps that we've got, so you can have a look at each of these systems. Any buttons here are ones that you can access through that stellar cartography, and you'll be able to see the actual layout of that system. Let's see, I want to spawn in Atlantis. Atlantis is one of the big systems. It's a 20 sector system, so I'm going to select that button. It's also an allied system, and I'm going to go and select Atlantis. You can see now I've got this layout of 20 sectors, sector 1 through sector 20. They correspond with the sector maps, and I want to spawn in sector 17. So each of these buttons will take me to that particular sector. So if I click on sector 17, it's going to shift the player ship slightly so they don't automatically transition to the next sector, and it's going to create sector 17. If I click there, here we go. Some of these systems take a while to some of these sectors take a while to load because there's so many nebula in there, or asteroids, or different assets that come in, like the shipyards and the command bases and things. Once I've got to this point, there's a prompt that comes up saying systems activated and linked to command network. Depending on what station you're on will depend on what pop-up you get. So the helm officer will get a slightly different pop-up, just to theme it a little bit for them. And then from this point on, it's just a matter of going through the menus, positioning ships where that you want. Say if I wanted them to start next to Atlantis Command, and setting the game going for them. So for example, spawning in some enemy vessels. Okay, so that's how to get play ships in the TSN Sandbox, and that's how to activate it and run it and get everything going. I hope that was interesting. Keep an eye out for some other videos. I'm going back through them, and replacing all the videos with newer videos. I'll go through the different menu items and I'll create some videos there, and I'll also look at some of the other systems outside the sandbox, like stellar navigation and things. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and look out for more video guides.